Good morning, all. Good morning. Good morning. Eric Arnold here, the Big E, aka, here in the sports barn at 1:45 in the morning on the 15th of January. And I don't even know what day of week it is. These days are starting to run together and I'm getting tired. But my commitment from me to you to give you winners. So I think we did that. I think tonight we did. Let's see. Yeah, there's some winners there. I'm fiddling. Let me put my video production hat on here. I'm fiddling with the sound. I'm trying to get it right. I wasn't happy with some of those videos because I had to turn the thing all the way up to the top just to hear me speak. So the last one I had on my bitter Ohio State jersey on, and the mic was right up here at my collar, and it just about blew me out of my chair when the thing came on the video screen. So we put it back to its traditional position, and I'm hoping that'll work. I mean, nothing's worse than not being able to hear, but then you don't want the thing clipping all the time whenever you reach down and go, attention Kmart shoppers. You know, remember that old Johnny Carson joke? Johnny Carson, for anybody under 30, he was famous. He was a Hollywood guy back when Hollywood didn't take itself seriously. At any rate, let's see. I wrote some things down for myself this morning because I'm so damn tired that I wanted to at least try to hit some high points here. What happened last night? Winner, Central Michigan, upholding the Bill Parcells theory. Outright winner, no less. I honestly don't even know if they hang money lines on those kind of games. But as an 8.5 point underdog, 74-67 winner. Honestly, it looked like to me Toledo was a better team. They were getting cleaner, open looks, and they just couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. And Central Michigan was making some, relatively difficult shots. They had some clean looks too. But, you win by 7 points. Central Michigan earned it. A good win for the Big E. Louisville, 4.5 point favorites at Pittsburgh. They get it done in overtime, 73-68. A little bit of controversy here with this game. Once again, I double-checked the point spread that I had written down at midnight before I came out here at 2 in the morning to shoot the video. And once you know, it's somewhere between midnight and 2 in the morning. Apparently somebody saw me write down 4.5, and the whole world said, let's bet on Louisville. And that number jumped, and 4.5 just wasn't there. Whenever I posted that video, 4.5 wasn't there anymore at all, ever. So I'm going to take a tie on this one. There were fives available in the morning, so that's what I'm going to call it. We're going to say we got it at 5, called a tie. Bending over backwards, to be honest here, to not lie, not cheat, not have somebody, put out a giant Twitter string all about how I lie, cheat, and steal. I'm not wearing a Houston Astros hat, so don't lie, cheat, and steal. Missouri, that was our best one, and a potential new subscriber actually told me he was going to put some money on Missouri. Well, sorry about that. That was the one I felt the best about, but I learned something there. I knew Missouri had a substandard coach compared to Mississippi State. All the other factors went in their favor, and they absolutely just got fucking killed. A 30-point loss. They scored 45 points. 45 points! I mean, geez. So my thought there is that the coaching matchups are important. I mean, really important. I'm not sure we'll make that mistake again, that we'll go back to a matchup with the coaches where I know the coach I've got's not good and the opponent's coach is good. I think you can play bad bad coach versus bad coach, but I think you're asking for trouble when you play bad coach versus good coach. Anyway, so that's a loss. That was the only loss of the night. Kansas gets it done 66-52. We had a little bit of bad luck here where I wrote the number down at 6. And then apparently Kansas's best player was out, did not play. That became known, I guess, about 90 minutes before the game, and the number plummeted to about 4. So you could have, probably had that game at 4. I got it at 6 because I guess at that point everybody thought he was going to play. Apparently he was hurt in the Baylor game. Maybe that's why they lost to Baylor, because he was out there taking lots of shots and gimping around and not being right. Well, they played just fine without him. I mean, Kansas looks like a damn good team to me. Best Devon Dotson or no Devon Dotson. That looked like a really good team. So they won. And then lastly, you got San Diego State here, the undefeated San Diego State. That's my first time watching them, and they won 64-55. My thoughts on them, are they a special team? I don't think so. They reminded me a lot of the old Temple teams. They play really suffocating defense. They have one fast, showy player that takes a lot of their shots. They turn the ball over a lot. They're painful to watch on offense. Lots of turnovers, bad ball handling. It just, but they'll probably be able to choke out a lot of the inferior competition on the West Coast. Yeah, it's a team maybe that goes into the round of 16, the round of 8, but I don't think they can handle an elite blue blood team. No, I don't. I may revisit that opinion at some point, but that's just my first take on it. So that's your old business. I wrote this down a couple of days ago. Wayne LaRue Cole. That was my first boss. And he made us, this is when I was just hired onto the job. I was 22 years old. And he made us go around and give public seminars on our job about what we did, the regulations that we enforced, what have you. And that's what he told us about public speaking. He said, the key to public speaking is knowledge of subject. And I mentioned to him, because I'd only been on the job like 6 months, I said, well, what if you don't know the subject? And he said, well, then you're fucked. And he wasn't lying. Those were some bad seminars we put on. But if you don't know the subject, you're fucked. So let's see, what else? Subscriber B has informed me that he forwarded some of these videos to a mutual a friend of ours that we used to work with. It lives in New York, I believe. This is a person I haven't seen in 20 years. Let's just call him Chad, not his real name. But Chad said, I should have written it down, but it was something, the words to the effect of, wow, I watched that video and that was the high point of my day. And I thought to myself, Chad, I thought this guy was a wheel in the I thought a politician or something, a governor of New York or something like that. And I'm not so sure. If these videos are the highlight of your day, Chad, I don't know. Maybe it's been 20 years since I've seen the guy. Maybe he's incarcerated or something. Then maybe it would be. But so I appreciate the sentiment, Chad. You need professional help probably. But hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for being here, and we'll do our best to give you winners and or maybe entertain you a little bit. But again, appreciate the sentiment. I do. Baseball, I definitely want to rant and give you lots of meaningless opinions about this, but it's late. The video's getting long, and I'm tired. One random thought that came to my head, I think one of the words that Manfred used in his report, if you will, his statement, that this was a player-driven scheme. Well, I know one of the people that are not suspended or thrown out or whatever are the players. Player-driven, nothing happens to them. I find that a little odd. I think what they should do, at least at a minimum with these players, is make them allocute. A word I learned from The Sopranos. If anyone ever watched The Sopranos on HBO. Johnny Sack, head of the New York family, is going down for 30, 50 years. The feds got him by the short ones. And he's trying to make a deal with the feds not to give up any of his cohorts in the crime families, but just to get a few nickels still left over for his wife so she doesn't have to be on the sidewalk selling apples. So they agree not to kick the wife out onto the streets, but only if he allocutes. And that means stand before the court and say what a rotten scumbag he is, how he violated the law, why he violated the law, and that he's a member of La Cosa Nostra. Fuck it. It's too early in the morning to worry about how to pronounce it. Member of the mafia. So he allocutes. And he absolutely doesn't want to do it because, you can't do that. You're a member of he took an oath. You can't allocute. You can't say you're a member of those guys. Well, that's what those goddamn players should have to do. They should have to stand before everybody, all the fans, and say they did it. They did it. Not, oh, well, I heard him banging on the trash can, but I didn't look for a curveball. Not me. Not I, said the Wolf. Those assholes. They all should have to do it. The pitchers, too, because they knew goddamn well what was going on, too. Gee, Jarrett Cole. Gee, Justin Verlander, it's a little easy to pitch with a 4-0 lead all the time because your hitters are whacking the ball all over the park. You guys should have to stand there and allocute too, bastards. Anyway, there's a lot more anger and hate where that came from, and we'll get to some of that later. But let's get on to this new business here. We're going to go through this fast because these are all games that you've never heard of and don't care about and probably are not going to watch. Largely because I don't know you can. So let's go through this quick. Okay, we got what? I think we're missing a game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What happened here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, this is fucked up. Somewhere we're missing the game. Well, I'll figure it out. There are 9 games. I got 8 written down. Again, functions of what happens at 2 in the morning. St. Francis, Pennsylvania, -3 points against Fairleigh Dickinson. This is out of the Northeast Conference. Believe it or not, this is actually going to be on TV. This is at 5 o'clock. ESPN is going to broadcast this game. They moved it up to 5 o'clock. I guess they're going to interrupt whatever, Stephen A. Smith or whatever their programming is at 5 o'clock. This game, actually, the storyline here is vengeance. And there's no better storyline than vengeance. It carries through war. It carries through professional wrestling. It carries through college basketball. Vengeance. So, vengeance. St. Francis of Pennsylvania, they had the championship game to go to the big dance last year out at their place, which is out near Horseshoe Curve in Altoona, Pennsylvania area. And Fairleigh Dickinson went out there and beat them. So now they have a chance to right that wrong and beat those guys, and I say they will. So that's 2 stars there. Number next. Central Connecticut State. Central Connecticut State, 18 points. They're getting 18 points. They're one of the worst teams in the country. They got one win. I forgot to write down Pomeroy. 351. I guess that means there's only 2 teams worse than they are. I looked that up. They're actually 353 Division I teams. Almost the worst team in the country. I found this out. These guys are coached by Danielle Marshall. He's from Reading. He's our hometown boy. I never thought he was he was a professional basketball player. He's probably second best player to ever come out of Reading High School. So he coaches Central Connecticut State, 18-point underdogs. We're just going to take Central Connecticut State, even though they're awful, because you're getting 18 points, largely. And we like that for 1 star, because that's how much faith we have Danielle. Let's see. Albany. Here you go, Chad. Albany 9-8. 1-point favorite against New Hampshire. We like Albany. I think this is another vengeance game. Like that for 2 stars. UMass Lowell. That is 4-point favorites against Maine. Then both these games are American East. What do you know about American East? That's Vermont's conference. They're the team there to beat in that conference. UMass Lowell, we like them. 2 stars for those guys. Well, let's see. Western Carolina. Oh, I see which one we missed. All right. Again, function of early in the morning. St. Peter's, we have them for all of 1 star. They're from the MAC, the Metro Atlantic. I don't know. They're getting 3 points from Fairfield. There. All right, now we're on schedule. All right, back to what's on the board here. The Southern Conference, the SoCon, Western Carolina, 12-3. That's pretty good. 152, getting 11 points at Furman in Greenville, South Carolina. Furman, 14-4. The Bill Parcells series right here, those records are pretty similar, and I'm getting 11 points. Western Carolina, I think, is an improving team that hasn't really done much in the last few years. Furman, I think, has played some tough competition lately in conference. It seems like a perfect place for Furman to just take a break. And we like Western Carolina, and we're going to give them our top rating. 3 stars for Western Carolina. Bucknell getting 4 points at American. This wasn't even on the board. I took the 4 points as the Ken Pomeroy ranking. I don't even know if they're going to put it on the board. There might be an injury. I just don't have any idea why it wasn't listed. If it is listed, we want it. We want it for 2 stars. We want it with Bucknell. I think this is largely just a class play. Without going into too much details, generally speaking, all these games in these mid-major conferences, we like the road teams almost without exception. Just kind of think that there is an advantage there because there really, I don't think, is much of a home court advantage at all in these buildings. They're never full. They're rarely they're usually half full or less. I just don't know that generates that energy, that home court advantage, that intimidation factor for the referees. So that's why we like a lot of these road teams. Now this one, they actually might have some people in the building. Northern Iowa is a good team. They're 14-2. But I looked it up. They don't generate huge crowds out there. I don't know why. I don't know what else there is to do in the middle of the week. I think they're in Cedar Rapids. I got to look that up. But what else do you do? Well, I guess you could go see Democrat candidates. You probably can't go anywhere in Iowa without tripping over one of them. And they can tell you all about how things are unfair and free health care and free student loans. So maybe that's what everybody out there is doing. At any rate, if it is, then Valpo is going to walk in there and kick their ass. And that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. Valparaiso 2 stars. And lastly, going into the Southland is Incarnate Word. Honestly, until I started doing these videos, I'm not even sure I knew that was a Division I school. I don't know when they became a Division I school. I don't know if they've always been a Division I school. They're from San Antonio, apparently. They're getting 11.5 points from Lake Charles, Louisiana's McNeese State. And as I said, we like those points. So there. All right, so let's recap here just to make sure this is right, because I may have screwed this up, but don't roll off the table. God damn it. All right. Recapping. St. Francis, Pennsylvania, 2 stars. Central Connecticut State, 1 star. Albany, 2 stars. UMass Lowell, 2 stars. St. Peter's, 1 star. They're from Newark, I think. Western Carolina, from I don't even know where they're from. Western North Carolina, 3 stars. That's our top play. Western Carolina out of the Southern. We'll see how that goes. 2 stars for Bucknell. Hopefully they put that on the board for us. Valpo, 2 stars, and Incarnate Word, 2 stars. So 9 games. Let's see if we can open up some space here now that we've broken beyond the 500 line. Let's see if we can do some open field running here. Very good. That's all I got for you. We'll come up with, I don't know when we're doing the next one. I need a day off like a dead man needs a burial. So we'll see what happens if you get one of these tomorrow or not. I'm not sure. But hit the subscribe button and then you'll find out for sure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. From me to you, good morning.